Alright guys, here's my honest review of the 7 top DAWs for musicians, producers, and audio engineers, giving pros and cons of each as well as who I believe should use which ones. Just for context, I'm a full-time music mentor. I teach people how to mix and produce music. Logic Pro is one of the most accessible and easy to use DAWs that I know of. It has some of the best sounding stock instruments, sounds, and plugins. I don't really like the editing that much in Logic. It's a little bit limited in certain functionalities, but who I see thriving in this DAW the most is self-producing artists and musicians who are not as heavy into the audio engineering side. Pro Tools is one of the most capable DAWs when it comes to recording, editing, and pretty much anything else, honestly. It is the industry standard, whatever that means. The cons of it is that it's not that easy to use if you're first starting out, and it's also a little bit more expensive than other DAWs. Who I believe should use Pro Tools? Audio engineers, let's be real. Ableton absolutely slaps. Definitely up there with Pro Tools in terms of functionality. You can do some things in Ableton that you can't even do in Pro Tools. The cons are that it is a little bit more expensive as well. It's a little bit more confusing than like Logic, for example. And who I believe should use this DAW? Producers. This DAW is built for producers, as long as you are down with a little bit of a steeper technological learning curve. I know FL Studio gets a lot of hate, but you gotta give it credit. It is a DAW specifically crafted for beat makers with high levels of output. It's incredible for that in terms of workflow. The editing and recording is pretty limited. The routing makes no sense to me, but this is a DAW for beat makers, period. I don't know why more people that I know don't use Cubase, man. This is literally my DAW choice. It sounds incredible. It's got the functionality of pretty much anything. You know, the workflow I love personally. Cons, it's a little glitchy, not gonna lie. Who should use this DAW? Audio engineers who are also producers, people who are kind of like a hybrid of the two. Reaper gets a lot of hate, man, but honestly, it's like a cheaper version of Pro Tools that could do pretty much the same thing. It's a very capable and accessible DAW. Aside from that, I'm not really a big fan of the interface. It looks kind of antiquated, and the workflow is definitely not my favorite in Reaper. Who should use Reaper? Self-engineering artists who are not trying to spend a ton of money on a DAW, and engineers who are not ready for Pro Tools yet. I absolutely have to mention Studio One. This is one of the most affordable, capable DAWs that I've seen. People just haven't started using it yet. The cons are that, I mean, there are none. That I've experienced, really. Maybe like a little bit glitchy, and some of the stuff is just so different from other DAWs that it might take you like a second to pick up how things work in Studio One. But aside from that, I mean, it's super solid. I feel like Studio One's gonna be playing up there with Pro Tools and Ableton one day. So who should use Studio One? Pretty much anyone, but I want to say it skews towards like producer artists. So I hope this helped put an end to the DAW wars. Remember, it doesn't matter what DAW you use, it matters what works best for you.